virtual audience in Facebook and YouTube that are joining us. We welcome you to our gathering this morning. And today we're beginning our October series, Glow Up. And we're continually evolving and remaining open at the top. This is one of the favorite phrases that is often quoted by our founder, Ernest Holmes, to be open at the top. And that means to just continually embrace life as a spiral upward that it is. Our topic today, the ultimate glow up, invites us to release old habits and behaviors that no longer serve us. Spiritual transformation is the ultimate glow up. You may be noticing a theme that is weaving throughout the year and throughout all of our teachings, and that is the practice that creates transformation is to let go, to let it all go, to release those old habits and behaviors that no longer serve us. And sometimes I'll personalize it. Sometimes I get more focused on being in a routine and going in a certain direction. And I've done it for so long, I fail to recognize that, hey, this is really not serving me any longer. And so we have that opportunity to hit that reset button, if you will, and to get back on track. As we approach the end of the year, our calendars may appear full. However, consider the blessings of having so many opportunities as we are engaging with each other and the various places where we connect with others to teach and to share and to weave together the celebration and meaning of life as we glow up. With rising expectations and growing depth, our glow up must be evident in our spiritual bodies and in our lives. And again, we are open to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. This is part of the cycle of glowing up. In our Science of Mind textbook on page 365, not in the textbook, I apologize. In Science of Mind 365, which is another book by Ernest Holmes, on page 114, he wrote, "We do not change all of the patterns of our thought in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little until gradually the old thought patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind, the operation of which we do not see, but the manifestation of which we do experience." So this is another way of saying that which is in the unseen is always operating for our good and appears in the seen. So we're in that, we're living in the unseen and it's manifesting in the seen, and that's how love works. And this gradual transformation is a testament to our patience and to our understanding of our own journey. And I think this is probably the key out of what I will share today, and it's the key out of living in the spiritual life. It's a gradual transformation, and it's a testament to our patience, and I'm going to add to our persistence and to our understanding of our own journey that is continually unfolding. From a Science of Mind perspective, glow up. With the growth of social media, it may feel more evident than ever. With the growth of social media, it may feel that we are more divided than ever. However, in reality, we are learning more about each other, and many of us have become frightened by what we have discovered. Yesterday, I attended the memorial service for one of my teachers, a mentor, a guide, one of my spiritual coaches. And it was just amazing to hear the sharing of how her life had touched so many people in so many places within our organization as well as within the larger community. And one of the emphases of her teaching was that we have a responsibility to lift someone else. And I remember when I was going through ministerial school, there were a couple of things that they shared with us. Number one is recognize that as a minister, you have your own process, you have your own growth, you have your own life experiences that you're going through. But don't use your congregation, don't use your community as a dumping ground for your stuff. Work it out with your practitioner. As we encourage members of our community to do, we do the same. I have a couple of practitioners that I work with. And the other thing that we were taught in ministerial school is that it is our opportunity to grow in the public eye. And another expression that was often used is that it is our responsibility to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. So we have all of these various jobs that we have as spiritual leaders, and yet we're all spiritual leaders in our own way, in our own lives. You know, there's no separation, there's no distinction. And so in reality, as we learn more about each other, we have an opportunity to come together and to celebrate one another more than before. Social media is where the concept of glow up originated. In dictionary.com, there is this definition of glow up. It is an informal term for personal positive transformation, typically one involving significant changes in appearance and style, and often growth in confidence and maturity, and sometimes aspects of professional and personal life. The term glow up actually originated in hip hop, notably from Chief Keef's song, Gotta Glow Up One Day, released in 2013. Over time, this concept gained traction on social media, often illustrated with before and after pictures that showcased an individual's glowing up with age. So it was a transformation from, I'm going to say, aging gracefully. And the hashtag GlowUp has millions of results across nearly every established social platform. Our Science of Mind teachings invite us to share our stories of our own glow-ups or personal transformations, even if we rarely refer to them in that way. Today is the perfect time to embrace our spiritual transformation as the ultimate glow-up. Our personal stories have the power to inspire and influence others on their own journey of transformation. And I want to share with you this reading from Pam Grout, and it is from her book, Think and Grow Rich, a 30-day experiment in shameless gratitude and unabashed joy. Shameless gratitude and unabashed joy. And she writes, this still small voice reminded me that everything I see, everything I believe, is just a story I made up. It told me that in truth, I am spirit, I am light. So we've shifted from the story to the truth. The truth is, I am spirit, I am light. All those voices, those wars going on in my head, are nothing but chunks of the collective consciousness that I can either believe or defend against, or I can transmute with gratitude. I can shift it, I can change it. The real me, it told me, I am kind, giving, in deep communion with all creation. The real me is true force for love. And so, where do we find the real me in our own lives? And I invite you to just think about that. Where do you find the real me in your own lives? That true force for love. And we can look into our Centers for Spiritual Living history, and I'll give you a little taste of the history. as an aspect or an illustration of growing up. When Ernest Holmes was reluctant to form a spiritual organization, just maybe a little bit of background to that. When Ernest Holmes began giving his lectures, he was lecturing on prosperity and was attracting an audience primarily of salespeople who were taking the spiritual principles of demonstration and manifestation, and it was making a tremendous positive difference in their lives. And as they began to talk about it, spiritual leaders from various traditions and denominations began listening to Holmes' talks, to his lectures. And so the religious leaders, if you will, began to pressure him to form a spiritual organization, which he resisted for a very long time. However, in forming a spiritual organization, he ensured our movement would continually evolve by remaining open at the top. And this key element has laid the groundwork for our ultimate glow up. In 2011, the United Church of Religious Science and Religious Science International came together to create the Centers for Spiritual Living that we know today. The original split took place, I believe, in 1952, where there was a philosophical difference, and egos, as the story goes, egos got in the way. And so there was a group that decided to stay with Ernest Holmes, and there was a group that went with Raymond Charles Barker and some of the other giants within the movement. And so that was the beginning of the two separate organizations. So in 2011, the two organizations came back together and formed what is known today as Centers for Spiritual Living. And in her book, The Chronicles of Religious Science, Volume 2, Dr. Marilyn Leo details the profound healing work that was required to unite the two organizations and to achieve the ultimate glow up. And we are seeing the benefit of those two coming together. The work that was done to bring the two organizations back together, and it was a multiple year process. For the whole integration process took place over a couple of years. And so that leads me into transformation, because this is what we are continually talking about. And I want to use the illustration of a caterpillar for transformation this morning. The metamorphosis of a caterpillar to a butterfly is nature's example of glow up. And I'll include some examples of how this works in the human. Caterpillars are born to crawl on the ground. Becoming a butterfly is an uncomfortable journey. Their transformation process begins when they stop eating. In our own experience of a glow up, we are required to, here's this requirement again, to release old habits and behaviors that no longer serve us. And so that process of transformation, or to stop eating those things that no longer serve us, is a starting point in our transformation. Then the caterpillar hangs upside down. And for our glow up, our lives may take a 180-degree turn. The caterpillar spins itself into a chrysalis. And in our experience, deep spiritual healing alone in the silence can feel like a chrysalis. Just as healing our shadow self, the process of transformation into a butterfly is a messy one. And I see some smiles. So I think you're anticipating the next question, and that is to ask ourselves, where is my life messy as part of my transformation? And for me, it is an ongoing process. And sometimes I say, I thought I had handled this. And Spirit says, no, you got a little bit more work to do. a little bit more work to do. A caterpillar, the caterpillar literally breaks down into a soup-like substance called imaginal cells. And sometimes in the human, our hearts can feel that way when we're doing our difficult healing work. Rest is the final step in the caterpillar's transformation to become a butterfly. And as we prepare our bodies for our lives to take flight, rest is a crucial part of the process. And I'm not talking about taking flight in terms of leaving this physical experience and moving into the next chapter of life, although that is a part of our process. The real glow up comes when we serve as an example of the power of healing. And that's one of the things that I like about our center, and there are some other centers that I have visited or been a part of in the past where they create that opportunity for people to, as we would say in the old church, in the traditional church, to give testimony. And that is where we create that opportunity within our time together to share our metamorphosis, to share our crystal experiences, to share our transformation and commit to our own growth, because our testimony, our sharing, inspires others. One person's transformation creates a ripple effect of a glow around the world. And that's why we hear the expression, each one teach one, and to be the light wherever we go, to shine our light, to illuminate not only the pathway for us, but to illuminate the path for those that are walking with us and are around us. And so our call to action this morning is a reminder that the ultimate glow up comes from embodying love and peace through our seeming busyness and challenges. The teachings of Science of Mind support us in experiencing this ultimate glow up for ourselves. Reflecting on our own glow up, you may ask, what changes have I made in my life that reflect my spiritual growth? This introspective reflection will help you become more aware and appreciate your own journey. And if you're willing, just for today, as we spend a few moments together around the table with coffee, and I think there's some snacks back there, as we spend time socializing, share a glow-up experience just with one another around the table. Reflecting on your own glow-up, ask, what changes have I made in my life that are reflecting in my spiritual growth? And I close with this quote from Can We Talk to God by Ernest Holmes. Love does not overcome hate and fear through controversy, argument, or force. It overcomes these by a subtle power of transformation, transmutation, and sublimation. Love is invisible in its essence, but apparent through its act. As light overcomes darkness, and as the presence of heat warms a cool room until it is comfortable, so the radiant action of love and peace dissipates fear, hate, and confusion. And my challenge to each of us, beginning with me, is to tap into that love that is the essence of who we are, and make a personal commitment to fulfilling one of the visions of our Centers for Spiritual Living, and that is to create a world that works for everyone. And I always add, right where they are. And we do this by allowing the love and peace that we are to dissipate, to transmute, and to transform hate, fear, and confusion into love. I invite us now to say together our affirmation for the morning, and we will say it twice. I am a brilliantly luminous being. I am a brilliantly luminous being. I invite us now to pray together. And so as we focus on this truth, that love and peace cast out all fear, hate, and confusion, we can affirm and we can know and we can declare that there is only one life. That life is God's life. And that life is whole, it is perfect, it is complete. And each one is an individualized representation of this life of God, living, moving, and having our very beingness as the life of God. And so I speak my word this morning knowing that there is a power within me for good. There's a power within me that says, I love you, I appreciate you, I acknowledge you. I see you for who you are. I see you for the image and likeness of this luminous being, this infinite intelligence, this creative metamorphosis, this power for good that is present here, representing the change that is possible. And as I embrace this truth for myself, I declare it as a truth for everyone, everywhere, in all places, and in all times. Knowing that as collectively we glow up, knowing that we are divine expressions, that we move through the experiences of life that are sometimes messy, sometimes create a 180-degree turn in our lives and whatever else takes place. And yet we hold on to our faith. We hold on to our knowingness that God and I are one. Spirit and I are one. This intelligence that created me is expressing as its essence through me. And therefore, I know that I can make it. No matter what comes my way, I know that I can make it. I speak my word of blessing this morning for places where individuals and communities are gathering together in the name and nature of love, aligning with the truth that God is and all is well. Knowing that the truth known in any one place is that same truth that is known in all places. I speak my word this morning of comfort for those families that are experiencing transitions, for those loved ones that have stepped out of the visible into the invisible. And yet, their essence, their love, their energy are always with us. They have just moved from being local to non-local. And our lives are enriched each time we recall a memory that brings a smile to our face. Or as we're going through the grieving process, may even bring anger. It is all a part of the process. And I am knowing that as we move through our individual journey, that each one is enriched and enlivened with knowing that God's got this. God's got my back. God's got my front. God's got all sides of me, because there is no separation between God and myself. There's unity in oneness. For those who are experiencing dis-ease or pain or discomfort, or may have received a diagnosis, That is not the diagnosis expected, and yet it is a diagnosis that is an opportunity to remember wholeness and oneness, and an opportunity to glow up in knowing that God and I are one, and that I can handle this. We can make it. God and I in partnership can make it through whatever this experience is. And for those prayers that remain in the recesses of our hearts, know that the answer is always yes and amen. And for those prayers that are released through a prayer request in our treatment box, or a session with a practitioner, or even a session with a therapist, or a session with a confidant, know that the healing takes place in the release. And sometimes just writing it out, letting it go, the answer reveals itself. Knowing that everything is done and complete in the mind of God, I just let all of this go. I release it into that law that circulates and is propelled into action by love, knowing that all is well. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, let us affirm it together by saying, and so it is, and so it is. And now is our opportunity to share our abundance through our tithes and offerings and our donations. And again, I just want to thank this community for the way that you've continually responded and showed up with supporting us, not only through your finances, your physical coins, but through your physical presence and the contributions that have been made, the deposits that form the memory and the energy of what creates and makes and sustains the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. I love you for this. Let us now share together and say together our affirmation of abundance. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And on our monitor, there are ways to contribute to the center. You may make your donations through the mail, through texting to give, or through our website. And so as the greeter passes the basket here in the center, as my meditation teacher always reminds us, give everywhere you go, even if it's only a smile. So I know that many of us are online donors or mail in our donations, and so just smile as the basket goes by. It's a deposit of love into our community. Thank you for that. And to our virtual community in Facebook and on YouTube, we invite you to join us next week as we continue our October series, Glow Up. And our topic for the week is The Holy Land is Everywhere, giving reverence to the earth as its true glow up and honoring Indigenous Peoples Day. And so we say, thank you, God bless you, we love you, and we will see you wherever our paths intersect.